Let me transfer you.
Switch to Farm Bureau Insurance today and get real service instead of getting really tangled up. For auto, home, life, and health, get the membership advantage. Get Farm Bureau Insurance.
Our defensive pressure, that was probably the biggest thing. To have 15 steals and 10 blocks in the same game is they're really, unusual stats, John. And so to have those in the same game is great. And it just puts a lot of pressure on the other team. And so made us, I think that kind of turned the game in our favor, and we were able to put pressure on them throughout.
Chris, Garrett obviously has the knack for blocking shots. Where does that come from? Where does one acquire that?
Well, yeah, that's a good question, because it's not like guys who jump well and are tall are automatically good shot blockers. I mean, he has those two things. He jumps vertically without any space incredibly well. He can without any room, he can just kind of catapult himself into the air. But he also has very, very good timing. He's to be a good shot blocker, you have to be a good position defender, and he is that. And I think as the blocks that he has, it just energizes you a little bit, and so that really helps. I think the more and more time that he can get himself on the floor, the more and more we'll see, and he's certainly a defensive presence in there.
You're not teaching him all that?
I think he had more blocks today than I had in my career, so I'm not teaching him much of that.
Dan appears just more loose.
Yeah.
Coming off the bench. Is there a reason, and will that continue?
I'm not sure I'm going to talk to him. I'm probably going to talk to him on Christmas Day and just get a feel for where he is with it. He's been great, and as far as his approach and attacking the games, and I just want to kind of get his thoughts on it. If he's comfortable doing that, we'll continue. If he'd like to get back into the starting lineup, then I think we'll do that. I think he's earned. I think he's earned that, and I think that he's. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to get back and start, and we do that, and he plays great. I think the last two games he's been. We don't win the Florida game without him, and today he was good again. So I'm happy with him, and he's been very, very good at practice.
Can you respond to being 9-3 at the holiday break?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think 9-3 is good, and the teams that we've beaten, I think, is makes it jump out to me a little bit more. What I said to the team is that we've put ourselves in a position where we can just move forward. We don't have to regret any games in the past. We don't have to scoreboard watch it all, which you don't want to be doing at this point. We've put ourselves in a position that we just need to play one game at a time, and if we want to accomplish some of the things that we've talked about, we're in position right now. And so that's where the good feeling comes from. Everybody wants to be undefeated. Everybody would like to win every game. But that's very rare. But we've put ourselves in a position right now where we can come out, play, and if we can continue to do as well as we've done, that we'll be in very good position.
I guess there's a natural concern when you make a very ambitious schedule that perhaps you could overschedule yourself. Now that at least most of that non-league schedule is over the hill, do you feel a sense of relief, accomplishment, satisfaction that thank goodness we did schedule those games and thank goodness we performed well?
Yes, definitely. When we looked at the 6-game stretch that we played, I think it's probably as challenging a 6-game non-conference stretch as anybody could play. Mississippi State, Missouri, Old Dominion, VCU, South Carolina, Florida. To be 4-2 with only one of those games being at home is really, really an accomplishment. And so we were, you have mixed feelings. You want to schedule ambitiously. You don't want to have a stretch of 6 like that. Certainly, you'd rather come home for a game. But now that it's in the past, yeah, we're very excited. Again, we wish we had won them all, but I think to be 4-2 against that kind of competition with only one home game is a significant accomplishment, and something that hopefully can, we can kind of not worry about it for a while, but hopefully it helps us when we get to March.
Kind of confidence that you have to go in the game with. And it's also my teammates. They help me a lot. I always have help defense that helps, so I can play off my man a little bit and help others. And I think it's just also a little bit of luck. Once I get one block, the next few blocks just come with time. So.
Dan, is it more comfortable coming off the bench? Your production clearly has increased since that's been your role.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure's off a little bit. It's more mental than anything, just because I've been going crazy here for the first couple of games. But no, the pressure off, I'm able to just relax and play, and there's no forcing anything, I feel like. And I think against Florida, I try not to force anything and able to let the game come to me. And same thing here. I get a couple minutes on the bench in the beginning, kind of see what they're in, see how the game's going. I mean, I like it. I enjoy it, and I'm playing better. So hopefully this continues.
Dan, did you guys talk about avoiding a letdown after such a big win over 13th ranked Florida?
Yeah, coach addressed it because you want to avoid a hangover or whatever it's called, and it's definitely it's not a sign of maturity. If you can come out and kind of display early on that you're ready to win and ready to play defense and score the ball, that you're going to be able to be a good team. And we beat a pretty good team tonight, and kind of handled them in the second half, and it was good for us to notice we can beat Florida and then come home and take care of business.
What was the difference in the final 8-12 minutes? They were within 6 or 8, I think, and then all of a sudden you kind of extended the arm a little bit. Is there a difference in philosophy, or just?
No, not so much philosophy. I'd probably say more focus. We came out in the second half trying to guard 22 and 15, and 15 kind of didn't score as much in the second half, but 22 did in the beginning. And then we have some philosophies that we go through for all 40 minutes, not just in those last 8 or 12, and it started to show up more. And I think more steals came easier to us. And then Darrius comes in and some block shots, and then we're able to rebound easier, and everything's a little easier.
Can you tell the difference in their offense when you're getting that many blocks that all of a sudden you see them, they know they can't go certain places, they've got to try and switch on the fly?
Certainly. I believe they become more tentative. They kind of notice me down there, and I think it alters their shots. Even if I don't get a block, sometime I may change their shot, make it a more difficult layup. So I really just try to go in and help us on defense and any other way I can.
Hey, Dan, how about a 12-game report card?
I mean, some big wins in there. Obviously, South Padre was great in Florida, but I mean, there's still some work to do. Dropped a couple that we think, we're better than, and we played poorly, and we know that. We think it's mostly our defense that's won us these games, and that's lost it. So, that's different than when I first got here. It was more offensively driven. And the mentality was more offensive, from player 1 to player 16. It was, let's run the offense, let's score. Now, scoring kind of just comes second nature, and we realize to be good and even be great, we need to play defense, and we've shown some glimpses of that, I think, in the wins.